So right now what we'll be doing is a gram stain. So as you've probably learned in lecture or looking through your lab manual, gram stain, the purpose of this is to describe bacteria based on their outer membrane. So if it's gram positive, it will retain our crystal violets due to a thicker peptidoglycan bilayer. And if it's gram negative, when we use ethanol, we will actually wash out the stain. So it will degrade the outer membrane and usually wash away. And then we have our final counter stain that will stain anything that doesn't have our crystal violet. So in order of adding things, first we take our bacteria. So here we'll use some E. coli. So I'm just going to take a small amount and then mix it around on my slide. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, as before, I'm going to dry off the slide by evaporating off the water. And again, make sure you do not put this directly into the flame. You can go a little bit above the flame, but don't put it and keep it in the flame itself. Millions of years later. Almost. This is the part that I love, because I know I always have to edit these parts out. Like 30 seconds later, a minute later, ...
Great.
Okay, we're almost there. Okay. So now, as before with a simple stain, you're going to take some crystal violet, put it onto your smear, and let it sit for about 30 to 60 seconds.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do, after about 30 seconds, is take our distilled water, and we're going to rinse out all of the gram stain. All the purple, no, all the crystal violet. Oh, fuck. Doesn't look like anything's still there. Oh, no, there is. Good. Okay. Once we've rinsed off the crystal violet, we'll now apply grams of iodine. And we're going to let this sit for about 30 to 60 seconds. Now that it's been 30 to 60 seconds, we'll now take 95% or 70% ethanol and now rinse all the iodine off until we don't see any purple on the slide. So, as you can tell, there's no crystal violet on the top surface of our slide.
Rinse it with water.
And then, afterwards, we're going to rinse off with water to remove any of the ethanol that's remaining. Now that we've rinsed off the ethanol, we'll apply safranin, which is our counter stain. And then we'll let this sit for about 30 to 60 seconds.
Okay.
Now, after about 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to now rinse off any remaining stain. So, I'm making sure to rinse off both sides just to make sure that everything's clear when we finally go to image this. So now that everything's rinsed off, I'm going to place my slide onto my blot paper. I'm going to press down firmly, then move it over a little bit. And then, as you can see, we have most of our dye removed, and we can still tell where we had our original smear, just barely. I wonder if there's actually anything on it now. Like it actually looks pretty fun. So I did this with E. coli, so I'm just not going to picture E. coli. Easy enough. No, it's really fun.